Hello and welcome to this latest in the series of videos where I'm looking at each individual move of the Shibashi set in turn. Can I emphasise that until you have been shown the complete Shibashi set, please don't try and use the moves that I'm demonstrating. I will at the end of this series go through and do a video of the whole Shibashi set. But the full 18 moves are energetically balanced. And if you only do part of them, it isn't quite as good. If you want to do something in daily practice, then that's why I leave the shorter full set, full move sets that I always leave in these videos. Okay, so make sure I'm in place. The move I'm demonstrating today is one called Cloud Hands. It actually does look quite complicated. It's not as complicated as it seems. And I think what I will do is I will demonstrate it first and then talk you through each individual stage. Okay, this move obviously has a number of parts to it. The first and most obvious thing is that you have your hands in this rather unusual position, which is with one hand pointing diagonally up, the other hand pointing diagonally down. The hands in the up and down position have slightly different positions as well. So that's the first thing. The second element of the move is a turn from the waist with the top hand leading. So that means that you turn, the top hand leads. Now this actually has its origins in combat, because if you are turning like that, then if there's an enemy coming in from that side, this hand is ready to bat them out of the way. So this definitely has a combat orientation. So you get your hand into position, and on the out breath, you turn from the waist, letting the top hand lead. Now, obviously, you've now got to swap the hands over, because otherwise, if you turn back the other direction, you won't have the top hand leading. So the next element, which happens on the in-breath, is swapping the hands over. And you do this by going palm to palm. So you turn that hand, bring that hand up, and then stroke that hand down so that they end up changing positions. I'll move a little bit closer to the camera so you can see that in more detail. So you end the move there. Bring this hand up and stroke that hand down. Bring this hand up, stroke that one down. And that's all on the in-breath. So when you've done that, you've ended up with your hands the other way round. So as with all Qigong moves, it's all balanced and done on both sides. So having done that on the in-breath, you're now ready to take an out breath when you turn from the waist in the other direction. And then on the next in-breath, you repeat the changeover. This move, now again I'll come forward to demonstrate it so you can see my hands clearly. This move is sometimes called parting the horse's mane. So this hand that comes up is the horse's head, and then you stroke the other hand down through the horse's mane. Okay? So it looks complicated, but it is actually quite simple as long as you remember the three parts. This move is all about balance, and it's all about balance from an energetic viewpoint, because, right, yang energy comes down from the sun. Yin energy comes up from the earth. And I have mentioned earlier in these videos that there are two hand positions, a yin hand and a yang hand. So the yin hand is slightly like that, bent over. The yang hand is like that. So I'm sure you can see the difference. So that's the yin hand and that's the yang hand. So the way the hands are positioned during this move, the top hand, see if I can show it, it's got a slight yin. I'll stand sideways on. The top hand is in the yin flexion, although it's in the yang position closer to the yang, and the lower hand is in the yang hand position, although it's actually positioned closer to the source of yin energy. So this is very much about balancing the two different sorts of energy within your body. And the turn from the waist is all part of getting that balance so that you're balancing up and down and both sides. Okay, so that's it can be a tricky move to get your head around, but I hope I've explained it and you can just watch that little video and keep repeating if it makes it easier for you. But I repeat, don't try doing these moves until you're able to put in the concept of the whole Shibachi set, because that's how they're most effective. So now I'd like to invite you to get yourself into your nice safe space where you won't be interrupted. Turn the phone off, shut the door, ignore the kids for a while. This is your time. And you cannot overestimate the value of giving yourself permission to do something like this, because you know it's a benefit for you for no other reason than you are worth it. So this is your time. Congratulate yourself for taking time to do something just for you. So let's bow in. And step out with your left foot into a nice bear stance. Feet are hip width apart, feet parallel facing forward, knees very slightly bent, back straight, neck straight, but chin slightly tucked in so that the crown of your head is pointing up at the sky or the ceiling. Once you've got yourself into this position, just close your eyes for a moment if it suits you, but just breathe. Just use your breath to tune into what your mind and your body need. Right here, right now. Remember that during the moves that we're going to do, it's not about doing them perfectly, but about doing them perfectly for you. Don't stretch. It's not about overstretching yourself or trying to push your limits. It's about working well within your limits so that you don't cause yourself any pain or discomfort. Send your awareness down to your feet. Just check that your weight is evenly distributed. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're in a lift. It's a lift with glass walls that looks out over the most beautiful countryside. As you look out over the countryside, you feel relaxed and calm. With every out breath, I want you to imagine that lift gently floats down floor by floor by floor. You ready? I want you to turn your hands over the palms facing backwards. And all the moves, find your own breath and your own rhythm. And you're completely ready on your next in-breath. Just let your arms gently float up in front of you with the palms down. As you breathe out, your hands just gently sink down again. You move your arms as far as you can manage in one gentle, easy breath. Then you move your arms as far as it's comfortable for them to go. It's not about doing things perfectly, it's about doing things perfectly for you. And do this move twice more. Breathe out, let your hands just gently relax all the way down, and with your next in-breath they rise up again. And turn your palms in and let your arms spread out. And then on the out breath, everything just relaxes back in and back down. You breathe in, feel your chest and lungs expanding. Maybe feel those muscles almost pulling your hands apart. And then as you breathe out and they relax, your hands gently float back in and back down. This move is all about expanding your chest. Really try to feel the air going all the way down into your lungs on the in-breath, and on the out-breath, feel yourself clearing out all the stay around. Breathe in, your arms float up and spread out. As you breathe out, they float back in and back down. And we'll do this move twice more. And then last time for this move, as you breathe out, just let your hands gently sink all the way down, and then on the in-breath, take the arch, form the arch ready to paint rainbows. And as you breathe out, dip on your left knee and let your right arm uncurl. As you breathe in, the weight comes back to the middle and your hand floats up. Careful not to bend. Keep your back straight. As you twice more, breathe out. Dip on one knee, the opposite arm uncurls. As you breathe in, everything comes back up to the centre. And then last time for this move, the same on the other side. As you breathe in, the weight comes up. Your hands come into the centre. Then turn your palms outwards and let your hands sweep down by your side. And you take your arms up as high as you're comfortable with. Don't stretch, don't hunch your shoulders. Small circles are just as good as big ones. As you breathe in, your hands float up as high as you're happy to take them. As you breathe out, your hands sweep all the way down by your side to the bottom. And then we'll do this move twice more. And on the out breath, let your hands gently float down. Bring them into position ready to balance your chin. As you breathe in, Smooth around that imaginary ball, and as you breathe out, imagine you push that ball underwater. Keep this move very small, take your hands no higher than your head. Breathe in, smooth around that ball, breathe out, and imagine you're pushing it underwater. And do this move twice more. And as you breathe out, let your hands come to rest in front of your abdomen. Just for a moment, stand very still and very quiet, and just let everything settle. Let your hands float down by your side, bring your left foot in towards your right, or bow out as you bow down. Then I'd like you to invite you to get yourself settled, wherever you're going to sit or lie, the mindfulness meditation. So, get yourself in a nice, secure place. Again, make sure the phone's off. I'd like to remind you that mindfulness is not about clearing your mind. And the cause of mindfulness is actually being aware of what your mind is doing. It's also being aware of the signals that your body is sending you. Because when you're aware of those things, you can actually take action to adjust what you're doing, and particularly adjust what you're thinking. Because the problem is, sometimes what our mind wants to think about doesn't make us feel so good. So, as ever, we're going to start off with what someone calls my magic ball. So, get yourself settled and comfortable. Make sure that you're warm enough. And then the first thing, I want you to listen to the sound of the singing bowl. I'm going to sound it 3 times. The third time, I'm going to let the sound die away quite naturally. And I want you to try and follow that sound and find that point where the sound fades into silence. As you follow that sound into silence, can you be aware of any other sounds reaching your ears? Sounds from inside the room, like the ticking of a clock, or maybe sounds from outside the room, voices, traffic. Don't go looking for sounds. Just notice what naturally comes to your ears. Let go of the natural tendency to classify them or identify them. Just notice the sounds that reach your ears without trying to identify them or analyze them. They are just sounds. Then I want you to move your awareness inwards. And as you do, your awareness of the sounds just fades away. And first of all, I want you to be aware of where your body is touched, like the bed or the chair or the floor. Whatever you're sitting or lying or even standing on, something will be touching your body. And you notice that touch. If you're lying or sitting, there may be different texture. And you notice those different textures. Again, without analysing. Can you get a sense of how your body is supported right here, right now? And maybe imagine gravity pulling you just a little bit harder than it normally does. So that you sink a little deeper into whatever you're on at the moment. And as you do, just let your shoulders relax just a little bit more. And then, when you move your attention even further inwards, and become aware of every in-breath and every out-breath. As you do this, let go of any natural tendency to wonder if you're doing it right or to wonder if others are doing it better. It's your breath. And whatever you notice is perfect for you. Just let your attention rest on whatever comes most strongly to your attention about your breath. Whatever you notice is perfect for you. Now, normally, breath happens completely automatically and we don't notice it at all. And so it's actually quite natural that your mind is going to resent maybe focusing on this because this isn't important. What's much more important is thinking about what happened yesterday or wondering about what might happen in the future. But right here, right now, all that matters is just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. So if your mind wants to wander away, when you notice that, I don't want you to criticise yourself and start thinking, oh, I can't do this mindfulness. I want you to congratulate yourself, because mindfulness is about noticing what your mind is doing. So when you notice that your mind has wandered away, you're succeeding in being mindful. So when you do notice that your mind has wandered away, just want you to gently lead your mind back to focusing again on every in-breath and every out-breath. And when you do that, you are succeeding in being mindful. What is it that you do notice about each breath? Maybe you notice air moving in your nose or throat. Maybe you notice muscles moving in your chest, or in your tummy, or in your back. Whatever you notice is perfect for you. And if you don't notice something that I've mentioned, just register it as a blank. Whatever you notice is perfect for you. Chances are, whatever you notice, there is movement involved, because there is a lot of movement involved in breathing. But now, can you become aware of that brief moment of stillness that happens in between each breath? When an in-breath becomes an out-breath, and then again when an out-breath becomes an in-breath, just for a moment, everything is still. Don't hold your breath. Don't try to lengthen that moment in any way. Just try to become aware of that brief moment of stillness. Stillness can be something that can be very hard to find in the modern world. There are lots of things for us to do, lots of things for us to think about. And if we don't take time to stop, we just carry on rushing our bodies round and with minds constantly thinking. And that isn't good. If a car never stops, it will eventually run out of petrol and it won't go anywhere. But it's important to stop. This moment of stillness in your breath happens hundreds of times every day, whether you're aware of it or not. So maybe your breath can be an anchor to help you find that point of stillness when you need it. How do you feel within that point of stillness? Can you imagine that point of stillness as a point of light in your chest? As you breathe, can you imagine that point of light gradually getting bigger and bigger as it fills the whole of your chest and then spreads even further out to your abdomen, and then to fill your legs all the way down to your toes. And that light spreads from your chest and your shoulders all the way down your arms to your fingers. And then finally it spreads through your neck all the way up into your head and face. Just for a moment, hold the whole of your body in your awareness and notice how good it feels for it to be filled with this feeling of stillness. Then you bring your awareness back once more to every in-breath and every out-breath. And then start to let your awareness move outwards so that you become aware once more of where your body is in the bed or the chair or the floor. Let your awareness move still further out so you become aware of the room and any sounds both inside and outside this room. And then I'm going to ask you once more to listen to the sound of a singing bowl sound 3 times. Bring yourself back to normal awareness, but as you do, just keep that image in your mind of your breath being an anchor so that you can anchor your awareness into your breath and you can recall that feeling of peace and the stillness that you had in the meditation, because actually that's what mindfulness is all about. Okay, please do make sure that you're fully awake and fully alert and got normal awareness before you go and do anything technical like driving a car or anything like that. I don't want to hear of any accident. Maybe take time to have a cup of coffee or some water or something to eat, just to make sure that you're completely grounded and back in the here and now. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, do please feel free to share it with anybody else that you know you think may benefit. If you really enjoy these videos and you would like to see more of them, do please consider going to my Patreon page. The link is given at the top of the Crystal Raw Qigong and Mindfulness page. Sponsors for the small sum of $2 a month not only get these videos, which are free for everybody, but I do separate videos that are only made available to my sponsors. Those videos are another half-hour long and are done really to meet the specific needs of those who sponsor me. So do please go and take a look at what you could get. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I will be back next Friday when we will be looking at, for the first time, we're going to be moving in out of bear stance and going into dragon stance. So next week I won't be demonstrating a move. I will be showing you what dragon stance is and how to get the best dragon stance. So hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.